Okay, so this is the cleansing boiler section, and I just want to have a chat with you about an added benefit the flow has. And you've heard me probably mention it a few times throughout this particular DVD. And it's to do with the fact that flow will cleanse the inside of your boiler and save you up to 15% on your fuel bill. Now, what I mean by that is, on a typical boiler, you will have these. These are called heat exchangers. Now, you will generally, in a combi boiler, you will have two of them. Now, one of them, say it's up top, what it will do is it will heat up the water that goes around your radiator loop. Okay, now generally that loop of water is a sealed loop and it will have antifreeze in it, obviously to prevent frost. There is a lower heat exchanger, and what that will do is it will heat up the fresh cold water that comes into the boiler and then goes on to all of your hot taps and faucets and showers, etc. Okay, so what we have here, I've just cut this heat exchanger in half just to show you, and as you can see, it's kind of like a honeycomb effect inside here. Now, if you imagine this honeycomb is in layers, this is a very broad brush explanation, but if you imagine these honeycomb pieces are in layers, so you'll have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc., 2, 4, 6 and 8. Well, there is an extra loop that comes down from the radiator section, which is boiling hot water, and what it will do is it will come down through two of these holes, come in and go through, say, layers 1, 3, 5 and 7. Okay, then it will come back out of the top, and that will continue on a boiling hot loop. Now, your water, on the other hand, will come through on the other side of this heat exchanger, which has two other holes. The water will come through and it will travel through these layers backwards and forwards in 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, and as that water travels through, it is heated above and below by this boiling hot loop of water. Now, as water travels through, there is natural sediment in that water. You will hear of other devices such as magnetic devices and so on that will attract the pollutants and metal particles that are in the water. But what you'll find is there's also just sediment, and it's very, very small, but it will gather over time. And so what happens is, as you can see in these little honeycomb pieces, little V's, what happens is the sediment just gathers and gathers and gathers over time. Now, if the layers underneath, say 1, 3, 5 and 7, are trying to heat 2, 4, 6 and 8 from below, what it's doing is, it is first of all heating the sediment first of all, and then that sediment is trying to heat your water. Now, obviously that doesn't sound very efficient, and it isn't. Okay, so what you can actually do is use flow to get rid of that sediment, and here's how it happens. What you would do is you would do a typical drain down. Now, pick a nice day in the middle of summer, sometime that you're not obviously depending on just draining down to walk away from the property. So you would just drain down the property completely, drain all of your hot taps, all of your cold taps, and what will happen is air will travel through your boiler. This is the reason why you don't have to manually drain the boiler anymore using flow, because it will be taken care for you. Air will travel through in the right direction, following the natural flow of the water. Now, what it will do is it won't remove that sediment at this stage, but what it will do is it will upset it and it will disturb it. Okay, and when that happens, what you would then do is complete the drain down and then switch your water back on again. Now, depending on the age of the boiler, you will be quite surprised at what comes out. I did it on my own boiler at home. It was a 7-year-old boiler, and the water that came out was just absolutely pure black. It's something akin to draining an old radiator. That was how black that it was. Now, what I've done here is I've just got a bottle of water here, and if you let it settle, what you'll find is that whenever you take out the water, that the whole water will be discolored, but when you actually collect it and let it settle, you get this kind of gunge, this sediment here. And so very simply what happened there was flow creates a spiraling vortex motion, and that's what it is that disturbs the sediment. But it just disturbs it, first of all, it is by yourself turning your water back on again and then drawing that water back through the taps again that will actually push that sediment out of this. Now, what that will do is that will normally on a boiler, this is the part that will go, and it's like a consumable part. A plumber will come in, they will disconnect it, they will remove it and replace it with another one. And one of these can cost you anywhere from 100 to 200 pounds, and then you're paying for a plumber's time, obviously, to install it. So it can be quite a costly piece. By using flow and removing this even just once a year, what it will do is it will extend the life of the heat exchanger indefinitely. But not only that, what it will do is by taking out this sediment, it makes the boiler more efficient, and it will save you up to 15% on your fuel bill.